Good afternoon, and welcome back to the Fernbridge Farm podcast. And I'm Kelly.
I'm Bob.
And we have a whole lot of stuff, a lot of projects and stuff to talk about today.
A lot of projects this time. A lot of projects.
And some fun sheepy stuff too.
Right, yep. So a lot going on. It's been 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Since we did our
last one. But
we
had a reason.
We were this close to doing one last week,
yeah.
And we felt like our only farm updates were it's still cold and pregnancy checks are right around the corner. So we decided to, well, it turns out we did wait until it wasn't cold. It's cold again today.
It's cold again. Yeah.
But it was not cold in between. And we'll talk about pregnancy checks for the ewes in a little while. So, some new stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've had lots of time to get lots of other stuff done.
Right.
So, we've got a jam-packed show.
It's like the Tonight Show.
And let's see, what's today? Today's the 13th. It's Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday.
We got chili going in the crock pot. So
that's kind of become our Super Bowl tradition.
I know. I think a lot of people do that for Super Bowl. We're not like doing a crazy big old party or anything. It's just gonna be us watching football.
Eating chili.
Yeah.
I'm not as fired up this year though. I don't know. Kind of snuck up on me.
Well, neither one of us has our team in the running.
That's not new for me lately.
No, I know. So, okay. We are going to... Oh, I have to talk about all... See, it's been 3 weeks. I'm out of practice. So, you can find us on all kinds of social media.
Right.
Mostly Instagram and Facebook, as well as our website. So Instagram and Facebook we're on as Fernbridge Farm. And our website is fernbridgefarm.com. So we're pretty darn easy to find. And I also have a Ravelry account. And I do have to update it with my finished things and some of my things that are actually in progress. Because I don't think I've done that. I haven't been on Ravelry in a while. So I do have to update it, but if you want to find me on Ravelry or friend me or whatnot on actually any of the social media, I'm Kelly Spins on Ravelry, and you can also follow my personal Instagram account if you're interested, which I do post a lot more of my knitting on my personal account, and that's Kelly O Spins on Instagram. So, we haven't set anything up for Bob yet. Although, with all your projects, we should get you a Ravelry set up.
I think this is the third of 3 podcasts where we've said that, so...
Well, it is our third podcast, so... We should think of a name for you.
Okay.
For it. If you have any ideas. Comments, please.
That worked out well last time. We'll get to that.
I know,
too,
I did.
So.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. Did I remember everything for the intro?
I think you did.
Okay. So, moving right along to from the barn. We had the vet out on Friday, and she did ultrasounds on all of the ewes that we bred. And we have 6 out of 9 ewes that are expecting lambs. So 3 did not settle. 2 of them weren't big surprises for us, I think. And one of them, we were a little bit sad that she's not pregnant. But we're going to still have lots of little lammies on the farm. So I made this handy dandy spreadsheet to record everything, including whether they were pregnant or not, and whether or not she could tell how many they were going to have. And she also, when she did the ultrasound, she could estimate the size of their heads, their skulls. So, and that's used to figure out how far along they are in
gestation.
In gestation, yeah. And so most of them are about halfway. Yeah.
Another 2.5 or so. So another 2.5 months or so to go for most of them.
Exactly. We could have one that goes a little bit earlier than that, but most of them are at 70 to 80 days, and sheep gestation is about 145 days. all of the 6 have at least one coming. There are 2 that she said she could see 2 embryos. So, and then there were 3 that she said there was 1 at least, but maybe more. And then there was 1 ewe that she just said she could see 1. And it was actually, that was the one she got the best image of.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
So the system she has doesn't, she can take pictures on her system, but not like send them to us or download. She can hook it to a screen, but they don't have one for the vet practice. So I don't have any little baby little lammy pictures to
no pictures on the refrigerator.
I know to share with you, but we did get to see it, which was cool. So that was Peregrine that she got a really good shot, and she thinks Peregrine's only got 1. But all but 1 of our ewes, this is their first breeding season, so it's not uncommon for them to only have singles in their first season. So we're not disappointed by that at all. So we could have at least 8 is what we're gonna have, and we could have as many as 12. So we'll be busy. and like I said, based on the measurements that she got off of them, they're all kind of, primarily, all but 1 are in that 70 to 80 day range, and there was 1 of them that was a little bit further along, about 10 or so days further along than the others. So, which makes sense. She was one of the ones that was bred off our farm, and that breeder, she starts a little bit earlier in the season than we do, so that makes sense. So, one of the things that I thought we would talk about, since we did the ultrasounds and kind of got those results back, one of the things that I thought would be kind of interesting maybe for you to talk about was what we do to prepare for the arrival of the lambs. I think we've touched on some things a little bit. Like shearing and vaccinations and things like that. We do have our shearing dates set. We are shearing, we've actually got 2 this year. And some of our sheep we shear twice a year, some we only shear once a year. I've got this year coming a little bit later for some of them, because 1, their fleeces aren't going to be ready to be shorn. They don't have enough staple length. So there's only like a handful. And then I also have the 2 ewes that were bred off the farm. They're due a little bit before, a couple weeks before the other ewes. And I didn't want to shear them super early, because last year when we sheared, we had some good weather on the day of shearing, but what was it, like a day or 2 later?
Yeah, we had a cold snap right after.
The temperatures dropped like crazy, and I had some shivery ewes that we had to put some blankets on to keep them warm. So we're trying to avoid that a little bit. So we're a couple weeks later for shearing this year. And so I'm going to do a March and a May shearing date. So I think that'll work out well. My shearer was very flexible and as far as doing that, which was great. She doesn't live terribly far from us, probably like half hour, 45 minutes, something like that. So I think it's probably a little easier for her. So that was great that she was fine with that. So we'll do that. We'll get the shearing done, and then usually 2 to 4 weeks before they're due to lamb, we vaccinate them. And we vaccinate with CDT, which is a vaccine. That's pretty much the only vaccine that we do. And we will do some rabies too, just because we have a lot of people visiting the farm. But the vet comes and does the rabies vaccine. So, and it is the CDT is a tetanus is the T, and then there's 2 variants of Clostridium that we vaccinate against, and one of them is kind of known as the overeating disease. So which sounds funny, but
some of the sheep might have that.
It's fairly common, and it's an easy one to vaccinate for. So we do choose to do that, and we do it at that time so that the ewes will pass on some immunity to the lambs, and then we don't have to vaccinate the lambs until 4 weeks and about 8 weeks old, and because we have to booster them at 8 weeks. So we do that. At that same time that we vaccinate, I check hooves and trim any hooves too, because we have to kind of confine them anyway. So it's a good time to do that. My shearer actually will do hooves too, but since I can do that on my own, I will do that at the same time. And then other than that, it's really just kind of putting together all of my lambing kit stuff, making sure that I've got some towels and some iodine for treating the umbilical cord, and just all that kind of, all the stuff that you need so that you don't have to think about it when the lambing actually starts. You can just kind of grab your lambing kit and go to the barn so that you've got
inevitably
everything.
at 2 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. At 2 a.m. you're not always thinking so clearly, so it's good to have it ready ahead of time. So, we've got some other things in our kit as well, but at some point maybe what I can do is just go through some of the stuff that I keep in ours. There's always the precautionary things that you hope you never need, like feeding tubes and bottles for bottle babies and all that kind of stuff, but it's always good to have on hand. Thankfully, our vet doesn't live terribly far from us, so we're very lucky in that regard. But sometimes large animal vets are more than an hour out, and you might need help before then. So we try to keep a lot of stuff on hand so that we can be prepared for kind of whatever comes along. So that's kind of what we have to do. We'll set up what they call lambing jugs, which are, in our case, because we have Shetlands, we can do smaller lambing jugs. Ours are about 4x4, and we've got metal panels that we set up, and we set them up in the barn. And once the lambs are born, you put the ewe with her lambs in the lambing jug, and it really helps create a solid bond between the lambs and their mom, so that they definitely know who mom is, and they can spend some time just with her without other sheep kind of coming along and trying to either poach a lamb, because there are some sheep that will do that, and also just really helps with that bond, and they kind of, you want them to really figure out nursing, and so they typically will spend anywhere from 1 to 3 days in the lambing jugs with their moms, and then they get to go out and meet new buddies. So, and that's always fun.
That I can't wait for.
I know.
8 to 10 of these little fuzzballs running around.
I know. It'll be really fun, and because all the ewes are due pretty close together, it'll be really nice, because there won't be any that are like much older or much younger than the others. So it'll be I think a good scenario. So that's kind of what we got going on. Do we have anything else out?
No, Tucker's doing well.
Oh yeah.
So we've still got Tucker off by himself, but he's within sight of the actually of the pregnant ewes.
Yeah, he's kind of next to them, so he
still feels like he's part of the flock, I think.
Yeah.
But no, he's doing well. So we'll
still letting
figure out
that
how to reintegrate him here at some point in the probably not too distant future.
We'll probably put little Jensen with him again, because they get along well.
Yep.
So. Yep. But yeah, he is good point. Little Tucker continues to make good progress in his horn healing. So
everybody else is doing well.
Yeah.
I think they did enjoy a little bit of a warm up.
Yeah, I think everybody did. It allowed us to kind of get a few things done and not be so freezing cold. So and we lost a lot of snow. So we had
the snowstorm.
We had the big snowstorm.
So we got about
last week?
18. Yeah, we got about 18 inches of snow.
We did. We got a lot of snow.
but that actually went well. It cleaned up good, so we got through that, shoveled the gates and plowed the snow and used the tractor to move some others. So, but we got through that. That was fine, and then it warmed up, and we lost, certainly not all of it. It's still white out there, but lost more than I expected to in those few days that it warmed up.
Yeah, it was like in the 40s for 3 days, 4 days, something like that.
Yeah.
And there were some of the days it was really, really windy too, and I mean, you could almost watch the snow melting. It was crazy how fast it disappeared. So.
Yep. So. No, I think that's what we got going on. That was kind of the big news we were waiting for.
Yeah.
And now we've got it.
Now we've got it, and it's kind of helpful. Of course, some of them not knowing whether they're having twins or not, you would just have to kind of, keep an eye on them and see what happens. But should be good.
Yeah. At least 8 of the little critters. We know that.
Yep, at least 8. So. Yeah.
Good.
Okay,
turn it over to making.
Making. We got lots of making going on.
Do you want to work on your tea, and I can?
I can
start.
For it.
I can start with making. So, feel like we're giving a lot of press to the gathering hat and the common cap, from Kate Solomon. So, I think I had the gathering hat done last time. I don't remember if I had you cast on the common cap, but whether I had or not, that is now done. So happy with the way that came out. It fit. I like fits well. Like the colors that we picked out. So again, I feel like we're doing ads here for Juniper Moon Farm, but that was a couple of different colors of the Juniper Moon Farm Santa Cruz Organic Merino. Don't know what you want to call those colors, but couple different colors of those, and it is what it is, with 2x2 rib and then a lot of stockinette before we went into the decreases. But happy with the way that came out. I realized as I was getting set up, I've clearly been wearing it because there's hay on it. So it's been out to the barn a few times. And
it has a really deep rib folded brim on it too, so it kind of keeps
it off there. We had enough trouble getting it on.
It keeps it keeps his ears really toasty because
and it knitted up that's a worsted weight, right? So that knit up fairly dense. So it's a nice warm with the double layer and the worsted weight knit fairly densely. So that was a good project.
It took longer though because it wasn't a bulky.
I know. I think I am becoming, if not already, a fan of the chunky weight yarns. They go a lot quicker. So we were talking before we started recording. I can't remember if the cowl. I am starting to think now that this was.
I think you finished
done last time, or whether we had it in progress. So this was the cowl that I guess I showed finished. I showed in some stage last time. So this was the one that we asked for a little bit of help naming, and ended up liking the texture in that so well that in addition to a cowl, I now have a hat in that same basically pattern to kind of match that up. And so what I ended up doing with that is, and I'm going to knit another one, but like I said, we've talked a lot about the gathering hat keeps coming up as well. So I had knitted that, and I showed that in the Juniper Moon Farm Moonshine, this kind of orangey, rusty orange color, and really liked the hat, but it just didn't quite fit the way that I wanted it to. So Kelly says that has something to do with gauge. I'm taking her word for it. But I also wanted a hat to kind of go with the cowl. So we actually ended up undoing the first iteration of the gathering hat and knitting that back up into this hat, which talked about naming a little bit. And so we did decide, so thanks to everybody who commented on what to name it. There was kind of the methodical theme last time, trying to find a nicer name for the pace of my knitting. And so we are going to call these the methodical cowl and the methodical hat. So Kelly can talk more about what a pattern release is all about, but we are going to kind of write those up more formally, snap some pictures. Really like the way those came out. I did go out with this morning. It was, 8 degrees. Was nice and warm in this. So again, reknit that out of the, or reknit the gathering hat yarn, which was the Juniper Moon Farm Moonshine.
He threw the hat at me and said, "Here, can you take this out?" He made me frog it.
Take this apart. And so, yeah, we wrote up just kind of a rough draft, which actually worked out really well for what will henceforth be known as the methodical hat. So I think Kelly's going to kind of finalize the pattern, and like I say, we'll snap some pictures of both the hat and the cowl, and so look for a pattern release here probably before too long. I'm not going to commit you to exactly when that's gonna come out. But those both went well. Been wearing both of them. I can't say I've been wearing the hat a lot yet because I believe it's under 24 hours since I finished that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you finished that last night.
But finished that last night. So, like I say, happy with the way that both of those came out. The gathering hat will make another appearance, I promise. We'll play around, make sure we pay a little bit more attention, I guess, to the gauge and do a couple of extra rows. I think really was all that kind of needed. And so what I'm actually sort of doing with that, because I think you had tried that on as well when I knit it the first time, and you kind of had similar fitting, I don't want to say issues, but it kind of fit you similarly to the way it fit me. So I am a whopping 2 laps into 2 rows, 2 rounds, 2 laps into knitting another gathering hat. And this one's actually going to be for Kelly. So we had in a few different colors left, more of that Juniper Moon Farm Moonshine, chunky weight.
I told you, I bought a lot of it when I realized it was going to be discounted.
You weren't kidding.
I know.
So you were calling it an emeraldy,
emeraldy
green.
It's pretty.
So it wasn't really my thing. But Kelly liked it, liked the hat, and wanted to do kind of a test run on some of the, just, again, minor, I don't even want to call them changes, but to the gathering hat. So I'm going to do that. And
we bumped up needle size. So
needle size.
The last one he knit on 10s, and this one we're going to do on 10.5s because it was just a little bit tight. It has slip stitches around, and that, can really pull in the fabric, and I think that's why it was a little bit tighter.
A little bit snug and a little bit short.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
we'll do that. That'll kind of be a little bit of a test of some of the things that we wanted to try out on that pattern. And then I'm going to knit another one of those for myself. And I like the viewer comments. So I don't know how many of those, aside from family who may be watching, who maybe know me well enough to help me pick a color. So she wasn't kidding. She bought a lot of this stuff. So we do have a skein of the Juniper Moon Farm Moonshine, easy for me to say, and kind of a little bit more of this forest green, and another one in this kind of, I don't know if I'd quite call it a charcoal, maybe.
Kind of steely gray. It has a bluish tint to it almost. So
whatever we want to call these, we'll just call them gray and green. If you have strong feelings about whether I need a gray hat or a green hat, go ahead and post comments.
You should hold them both up at the same time.
Gray or green?
See, and your face is framed right between them, so they can pick what looks best for you.
Alright, so
it's kind of hard because you're wearing a gray vest, but you're knitting a green hat for me, so,
So big decisions.
It is a much different green, though, than what you're knitting for me.
It is.
So.
Yep. So, anyway, like I say, if you have strong feelings, let me know. If you don't, that's fine too, but we enjoyed the viewer comments. So,
that is fun to read by everybody writes.
Did I work? I think I worked through my entire pile over here.
You're done?
I think so. And I have no plans beyond your gathering hat and my gathering hat 2.0. So, we'll see where things go after that. Who knows? By that point, it may be spring, and I'm putting lambing jugs together, and
right.
We'll see. But you have quite a pile
I have a pile.
yourself over there.
Yeah.
Did you make it all the way through your tea?
I did. I finished it.
Awesome.
Yep.
Timing is impeccable.
I know.
All right. Take a deep breath. Here she goes.
I'm going to start with a finished object, and I'll pop a picture in of it on. It's not for me, which I've mentioned before. It's for a friend. But I finished it! It's done. It's blocked. Ends are woven in. It's done. So this is Assi Spumanti, the sweater, and it's typically a short sleeve, and the person that I'm knitting it for wanted long sleeve, so I just did a kind of a plain long sleeve for it. And it is out of Hands and Heart Farm. The green is a worsted weight yarn of hers, and then the little pops of color is a DK weight that she has. So this is a 3-ply worsted, and the DK is a 2-ply DK, and so the green is obviously a solid, but the color is a variegated, so it worked out well for this patterning. So it is done, and I can get it off to Catherine, and she's got sheep that we want to go visit. She's got Romneys and Border Leicesters, so I might try to see if we can set up a time to go visit. She lambs a little earlier than we do, though, so I may have to plan around lambing so that we're not bombarding her and visiting then. But anyway, so if you haven't seen Romneys, they're really cute. They have like the really fuzzy cheeks.
I have to admit, I don't know why I have a Romney crush lately.
They are really cute. Oh my gosh, and her feet, I think I've mentioned it before, but she halter trains her lambs, and some of the videos that she posts of the lambs while they're being halter trained are just hysterical. So anyway, Catherine's sweater is done. So and this is a Baby Cocktails Thea Coleman pattern, and she's got a hat. I did the hat for Catherine already. I did add different colorways of hers, but it was kind of a good one to show, her solids and her variegateds that she does, because she dyes all of her own yarn, so it's really pretty. So, done! Alright, where am I going to put this? I will put it back there. In the rocking chair. Okay, so that's what I've got for finished objects. But, oh well, this isn't really finished yet. I made a little cozy for my water bottle. So I got the little caps that go on the the ball jars, and it has a straw, and it makes me drink more water, which is always good. But I just knitted, oh no I didn't, I crocheted a little cozy, and I have to felt it. I used Blue Sky Fibers wool stock, and I purposefully made it big because I wanted to felt it a little bit to go around. So I'm just going to take an empty ball jar and then hand felt the cozy so that it fits. And I just did little granny squares, and then so there's 5 granny squares, 1 for the bottom and then 4 for the sides, and then I wanted it taller than what the granny squares came out, so then I just did some double crochet and single crochet around all the way around the top so that it would cinch it in a little bit. So it's kind of cute. So I did that, and then I have been working with a couple clients on some crochet. They wanted to learn to crochet, and one of them wanted kind of an easy project, but something that would be kind of useful. So I said, well, how about some bags? I love crocheted bags because the fabric, you can make a really dense fabric with crochet. So I found some patterns and sent them to her, and so I decided to, I really liked one of the patterns, so I decided to make one too. So that's how far along I am. I'm not terribly far, but it makes this really cool tote bag. Let's see if there's a good, I don't think there's a good picture on it on here, but it's called the Huntington Carryall by 2 of Wands, and you can purchase the pattern like a PDF version through Ravelry, or you can get a free pattern on her website, which it has ads and things in it, so depending on what see if I can show this to you. There it is. And I probably can pop a picture in here too so you can see it better. Or you can just, go check it out on her website or Ravelry. So again, Huntington Carryall by Two Wands. I'm using an L crochet hook, so it's pretty fast to do. I did all of this in like an afternoon. And I am using a worsted weight yarn. It calls for a bulky weight, but I'm using worsted weight because I had a bunch of this. This is actually Cascade 220, and so I had a bunch of these, and I'm just holding it double. Which sometimes in crochet can be a bit of a pain, but this is working out fine actually. And it's a good kind of neutral olivey color, so I think it'll be a great little tote bag. And it's all single crochet, at least at the bottom of the bag, so it makes like a really nice dense fabric, which is just perfect for a tote bag. So there's that, and let's see.
So Lily wanted to make an appearance.
Yes, he did. Hi, Betty. Our third podcaster. So the other thing that I came back to after I finished the Asti Spumante sweater, I came back to my Soric jumper, which is a Gudrun Johnson pattern, and it's in her Shetland Trader book, the book 3, which came out at the end of last year. Came out just after Rhinebeck, I think, or no, right before Rhinebeck, because I think she had them available there. I don't know, something like that, in October of last year. And so that is Soric. And that's what I'm doing. There's two versions. There's a longer dress version and then the shorter tunic version. And that's the one that I'm doing. So it has, it's pretty much right now, it's bottom up. So it's a lot of just stockinette right now. And because the pockets that are on it, the little colorwork pockets, you actually knit them as like a little tube and then you steek them and then sew them on after. And then when you get up to this part, the little Fair Isle motif that's here is actually on the front and the back. So you work that in the round and steek the arm openings, and then you add the straps after that. So I am back on that now, which I think I showed that on the first podcast. But I haven't made tons of progress, but I'll show you where I'm at. There it is. So lots of stockinette. There is a little garter stitch panel, kind of faux side seam here, and then it does have a folded hem too. And she has you cast on in one of the contrast colors, so there's this cute little pop of color in there. So I love that little touch. Nobody's really ever going to see it, but I just love that. So as far as other colors for the Fair Isle color work, that's what I'm going to use. Whoa, buddy. You like those colors? So those are the colors I'm going to use for the Fair Isle color work. It's a pretty little star pattern that's on that. So I can't wait to get to that part. That'll be fun. And let's see. Okay, so that covers most of the knitting and the crochet. So the other thing that I've been doing is some spinning. Actually, just this afternoon, I did some plying. I've got a little bit left of this to do, but so I do an educational farm experience here at the farm. So a good part of last summer, I did these groups. People come to the farm, and I teach them about sheep and fiber preparation and spinning and all kinds of fun stuff. So I have these two bobbins that over the summer, the people that came to the farm and tried spinning, I've got these two funky bobbins of over plied yarn and some that's really thick and thin, and so I actually took the two bobbins and I'm plying them together, and it's making a really funky, fun art yarn. I think what I might do, I've got a couple ideas, but one of the things I might do is I might knit them up into little triangles and do like a little bunting for the barn. And then every year do a different one as new people come to the barn. So I thought that would be kind of fun, or add more little triangles to the bunting. So this is the yarn. It's really, there's some spots that are like super over twisted, and some that are just really thick and thin. So it is fun though. So
some of my horrible attempt is in there somewhere too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You did give it a go. So yeah, I'll
stick with finished product. I'll stick with working with finished product.
It's really funny because I demonstrate spinning and how to spin, and then I have everybody who wants to try sit down and teach them how to do it, and everybody's like, oh my god, it looks so much easier than it is, because you're trying to keep track of the twist and drafting out the fiber and keeping the treadles going, and they're like, wow, there's just so much going on. I was like, yep. So that's really fun. So I've got a little bit more to ply up, but I have a friend of mine who's coming and going to take some spinning lessons. So and she's going to use one of my wheels. So I wanted to clear off the bobbins from that wheel, so that it was going to be available for that. And then the last thing that I've been working on, if you follow us on Instagram, you will have seen this. But I am taking, and I did talk about this, I think, on one of the podcasts. I'm taking some of the fleece from the 2 lambs that were born on the farm last year, Jensen and Juniper, and I am spinning it fine into like a lace weight, and I'm going to make a shawl with it, a traditional Shetland shawl. So, and then I'm keeping their fibers separate. I'm going to do the border. You actually knit the border first, and then you pick up the inside and you knit from the outside in. So I'm going to use Juniper, who is a darker fiber. I'm going to use Junipers for the border, the outside, and then Jensen I'm going to use for the inside. And so that's Juniper's fleece there. And then that is Jensen. So he is just pretty much white. He's actually a catnugget, and he has a brown belly, but we don't use the belly wool for that. So there's actually the carded bats. So this is Jensen, and I'm gonna have to card more of his and Juniper's too. So actually, once I get Juniper's done, I weighed them both, so I know how much is here. So once I get Juniper's single, I'm going to leave it as singles, the original pattern. So I'm going to knit the Gibby shawl, and it was a pattern that Jameson and Smith have available, and it's on Ravelry, and I think you can get it off their website too, but it's also been a number of Shetland lace books as well. So it was knit with Jameson and Smith's cobweb single ply yarn. So I'm actually going to leave this a single ply, and I'm just slightly overspinning it. So and then I'm going to full it a little bit. So just give it a little bit of a felt so that it holds together really well and kind of foofs up. So I think that'll be really kind of nice. So I haven't gotten terribly far, but it's thin, so it takes a little longer to get done. So that's been really fun to do, because I haven't had a chance to do a lot of spinning in the last couple of years, so I'm kind of coming back to it, and it's been fun. It's been really fun to kind of do that. So yeah, and I processed these 2 fleeces. I just processed myself. Actually, our drum carder is right behind Bob. It's right there. And so yeah, I've got an electric drum carder, and it makes big bats, which is really nice. So it's definitely a little quicker to do it that way than to do it by hand. So I have these lovely big bats that I can do, but I wash their fleeces and then open the fibers up and just I'm spinning right from the bats, and it's working well. So I think that's all that I have.
I don't see anything in front of you that you haven't talked about yet. So
yeah, so that's all my making.
But that does remind me, we didn't talk about is where we're podcasting from.
Oh, right. Yeah, we didn't. We briefly did, but it'll be in outtakes because I think we were talking about it before.
I think we were in our sound check.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so we are downstairs in my kind of studio space, and I've got it set up so I can do some lessons. So my friend who's coming, I've got a nice bright space down here, and so yeah, I was talking about how all of my supplies, my shipping supplies and business cards and stuff like that are behind us on those shelves. So
I've been joking with the curtain behind us for the first 2 podcasts. We looked like we were coming to you from an undisclosed location.
Yeah.
A little more character to the space this time, and probably going forward.
Yeah, there's definitely some more character, some stuff going on around us. I've got one of my spinning wheels over off your shoulder. So, yep. And we've got a better overhead light here. We do have the podcasting lights going, but because we've got more light in this space, I think the quality, the video quality will be better too. So
this is as good as we're gonna look.
I don't know about that, but cool. So that kind of covers our making. As far as, we talked about the methodical cowl and hat. I'm going to get those all fancied up, written up, and I'm hoping that I'll have that together by the end of the week, but I will definitely, we'll do a post for Instagram and Facebook once we've got those done. Too bad we didn't have any Fernbridge Farm bulky, and we could do it in that, but
something for the future.
Right. I know I've had quite a few people ask me for a bulky, so that may be one that I have to do.
By quite a few, she's not referring to just me.
That's true.
I actually don't know that I have asked for bulky of our yarn.
No, I don't think you have. But I have had a few people ask if I was going to do a bulky, so that may be something I have to add to the mill run list for the next shearing. So yeah, I'm hoping to have that together by the end of the week, and as I said, we'll post about it so that you'll know when we do release that, if it's something that you're interested in. And then we don't really have much for anything new in the shop, but I do have some stuff that's kind of simmering. It will literally be simmering, hopefully some later this week, but kind of in my head at the moment for all of our spinners out there. So I'm going to dye some of our roving that we have, and I think I'm going to do some fun bats with that, because I do have my carder that I really like using, and it's fun to do some really cool things. So I've got some already pre-planned fun bats for spinning that I really want to dye up. So look forward to that. I will of course post for that too when that comes out, and then we can also show that in our next podcast. And then other than that, I've been teaching. I started a new beginning knitting class, so that started last week, and it goes this week. And then I've got an intro to sweater knitting class that's coming up, and that starts in March. And then I've got a sock knitting class in April, and then I'm actually going to be teaching some crochet classes, Tunisian crochet, and a beginning crochet class, as well as a brioche knitting class for Muscle of Yarn. So I know Muscle of Yarn just put up their new classes, and they've got a whole bunch of stuff on their calendar. So if you're looking for other classes, they do have some. And if you're local, if you're in kind of the Vermont area. So yeah, I'm going to be teaching some classes for them too. And
all the other classes are through CVU.
CVU Access. Yep, actually, so if those are ones that you're interested in, if you just search CVU Access, you can find them that way, or I have all of them linked on my website too. So if you go to fernbridgefarm.com and then click on the classes workshops tab, then it'll show you the classes. I haven't put the Muscle of Yarn ones up there yet, so I will have to link to those too. But the ones for CVU are there. Yeah. So, staying busy.
As usual.
Yep.
We're allergic to rest.
I know. Yeah. No,
it's actually been a pretty mellow weekend.
Yeah, it's been good.
So.
Yeah, it's been good. We actually have time to podcast, which is good. So. What else we got? Do we have anything else?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. We're, like I said, busy, but sort of on cruise control at the same time.
Cool.
Got the lamb news. That was the big thing.
Lamb news. Oh, and I've got my calendar for seed starting, so another week or two, and I'll be able to get my hands in a little bit of dirt and get some seeds going. So that's always exciting. Kind of makes you start feeling a little bit like spring, even though it's not spring for another couple of months. But so yeah, I gotta get that out and put it so it's right in my face. Because if I don't remember to do that, then I won't remember.
I'm surprised you don't actually literally have it on the calendar.
Yeah, well, I have it in a spreadsheet right now, so you know me in spreadsheets. So.
Cool.
You like spreadsheets too, so.
I do. I'm all set.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us.
Not saying you have to stop talking.
No, I know, I don't. Well, we'll keep it short, so if because sometimes shorter podcasts are good, because then you can kind of sneak them in. It's not that short. It's probably going to be about, 45 minutes or so. Although I will put in, at the end, that video of Juniper.
Oh, right. For those who aren't on Instagram.
For anybody who's not on Instagram, who didn't get to see Juniper hopping around, oh my gosh, the other day at feeding time in the evening, she was just having a grand old time. It was when the weather warmed up a little bit, and she was just hopping, and I couldn't believe none of the other lambs didn't join in with her, but she was just having a great time. So, and she's usually our kind of mild-mannered girl who kind of hangs back, but she was just having a great time. So. So I will pop that video in at the end too. So we don't really have any good outtakes this time. So, but you got to see Willie again. So because
of course,
he came for a visit. He's gone.
He's back. He's back under the table.
He's in his bed under the table. So. But anyway, thanks for joining us, and we will see you probably in another couple weeks or so. When we've got some more exciting, interesting, or knit-worthy things to show you.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.